time.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-dun, dun, dun, dun. Cha. Welcome, good morning, everybody, to What's on Your Mind, an uplifting magazine program presented by yours truly, DJ Val, accompanied by the real deal, Olive.
How are you? Good morning. Guten Tag. How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's the weather been? Oh my goodness. I had a conversation with Christine during the week, and she was like, do you know only British people do this? She goes, Mom, British people spend so much time talking about the weather. Do you realize for the past how many minutes we've just been talking about the weather? Everything we're talking about is related to the weather. I said, well.
It reminds me of a song, actually. Let me test your memory and see if you can remember the name of the group. It used to go, everywhere you go, you always take the weather with you.
Oh, just butchered the song.
That's not what your question was.
Everywhere you go.
That's not what the question
you
was.
always take the weather. I can't remember the group though, but I know the song.
There you go. Well done for remembering the song though. At least you could sing it. Yeah. So that wasn't too bad. Crowded House is the name.
Crowded House, that's it.
That was your music trivia.
Always take
And that's it. Everywhere you go, you always take the weather with you. British people, everywhere we go, we always take the weather with us.
So what's the weather like where you are? Tell us.
Unless
what are you doing?
Not in the UK, it's cold.
It doesn't matter where you are. Tell us. What's the weather like? Is it raining? Is it sunny? Is it snowing? What's happening? What is it? And what are you doing? Are you shopping? If it's cold, what are you doing? If it's wet, if it's raining, what are you doing? If it's desert Sahara heat, what are you doing? Tell us. Good morning, guten Tag, bula, bonjour, bonsoir. If it's the same, if it's afternoon where you are. Bon dia, remember? I'm still doing recap on many of our greetings. And this time last year, guess what our international greeting was?
Bula.
All the way from, you always say Bula every week, so let's just throw
one
Bula
day I'll
in
be right.
there.
If I keep saying it, one day I'll be right.
It's not Bula, but hey, let's just say Bula. All the way from, for our Fiji listeners, Bon dia for our Portuguese listeners. But this time last year, our greeting was from Algeria, and it was Mahaban for hello, and Salamat for goodbye.
Oh, that was it. Salamat. I remember that one.
Do you remember any of the most recent ones? We had from Equatorial Guinea, we had Umbolo, we had Umbulani, we had Calimera, we had Calisperas.
Umbani.
We had Yasu, Yasa. You had Bonsoir, you had Konnichiwa, you had Ayaho, you had Bula, of course. You had Akasomate thrown in somewhere.
Akosomate.
Thrown in somewhere there very reluctantly.
Akosomate.
How are you all?
Akosomate.
So how are you, DJ Va, apart from being cold?
Well, I've been warm all day, actually. I had to take the executive decision to keep the heat on. So there you go. So
has your heating gone on? Yeah, many people, their heatings have gone on in the UK.
There's a school of thought that says it's better for you to actually keep it on than trying to switch it on and switch it off and switch it on and switch it off.
Well, good to know you're all keeping warm. Hope you're all keeping well as well. Alongside with warm, keeping well, we've got a packed show for you today. So we're going to move very, very quickly into it. I'm going to avoid the news. Today,
straight to business.
Yes, straight to business. Applause for our wonderful listeners, our post-show listeners, our post-show commentators. Applause.
There you go.
How are you right now? Where am I? So we had a first-time listener join us. If you're back in the house today, Esther, you are welcome. Please, may I ask all you not so new listeners to make her welcome. Esther
Welcome,
Allen is her name.
welcome.
She says, first time watching and I've subbed because I love your vibe. I had to ask, what's subbed?
Subscribed.
I was like, oh
She
Lord,
subbed.
Olive. I had to ask, what is subbed? That means subscribe. Thank you, Esther, for subscribing. You are in very good company.
She said she loved your vibe, not my vibe.
She said, I love your vibe. She didn't say Olive. She just said both the show.
I think it was you.
Okay. Whichever one you meant, thank you very much. And you are very, very welcome.
You are welcome.
Moving on from Esther to Adrian. Mr. Zimmerman, how are you?
Hello, Adrian.
I really loved how Olive broke down the scams around fake jobs, fake investments, and dodgy links. It felt like a mini cyber security class, but in plain English. Great show as always. Thank you so much. So much is going on around there.
The scamaramas
and the feedback we've got from a lot of people was it's a very timely subject to cover because I'm hearing different stories. Different stories.
I've got a top tip as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you've got one to add for us. At the end of the comment, you just throw that one in for us because we do want you all to be alert. We don't, like I said to somebody, we don't want certain things that can be avoidable to become prayer points. So it's true. Because you're so stressed because you've been hacked, you've been whatever, then that becomes a prayer point. We don't want that. But if we can avoid these things, let's be on the alert. You know, it's the season to be jolly. We want to be the ones jolly, not the scammers.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zimmerman. And moving on to Mr. Frank, the podcast chat has inspired me to upgrade my listening list. A mix of Stephen Bartlett, Huberman, and What's in Your Mind feels like a solid growth combo. Shalom. Yes.
I like that actually. A solid growth combo.
That is a solid growth. You are very, very right. Thank you for putting us in the mix there. Thank you
Stephen
for
Bartlett
putting
and
us
Mr.
for the
Huberman.
grades. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you. We appreciate all of our regular listeners. We appreciate you all. Thank you for having us. I'm moving on to Beckett. The IT security and scam segment was so useful. I'm now double checking every email and link. Thank you for explaining OTP fraud and card safety in simple terms. Thank you. Like I said, I don't understand it. I have to go to those who understand. Yep. I always have to defer to them. So I listen. I make sure that I'm not caught out. I'm very slow. You just have to put parameters around yourself and say, this is how we do it. You know, but the more you hear it, the more you're more conscious of the probability of things going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we will continue. Can you quickly, DJ Val, update us on that? You had a little addition.
Yes, I did. So one of the things.
Sorry, before you go into it, can you please give them the applause? Sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming. Keep the post shows comments coming. Please, they are gold in my world. Thank you. So sorry, DJ Fan.
No, that's okay, sweetie. So just on the security front with the emails, these rogue emails that come in, here's a top tip that you're gonna love. I heard this. I was out on my morning walk. I listened to a particular podcast. Shout going out there to the Mac Geek Gab crew. And I was thinking about this as I was walking, and then lo and behold, one of the guys on it now says this is what you should do if you have an email that you think is potentially a fraudulent email. He said, take the email, you need to copy the email in its entirety. Now, by that, I mean you have to copy the email headers. So all that information that is at the top of the email that you don't really see, you have to ask your mail app to open it up so it can capture the whole of the email address, not just what it says it is. And then you throw that into Chat GPT, and that will tell you whether or not it is a spoof.
Wow. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Since we asked ChatGPT to validate certain things. Yes, 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 yes.
It will look at the context of which it's being sent. It will also check the emails. That's why I said it's important for it to get not just, it was, oh, this is from TalkTalk. No, you've got to open it so you can see the actual email address, copy and put that in. And then once you put that in, it will then determine whether or not it believes this to be a spoof or not. How about that for use of AI?
How about
To
that?
beat the bad guys.
Now, that's a very good use of AI in my world, okay? Very, very, very good. Thank you so much, DJ.
Should I give myself a round of applause?
Yes, give yourself an applause. I give up.
Oh, sorry.
All right, moving on. I don't want an applause for myself. I want one for our listeners. Let's move really quickly. I want to be on time today. We're talking magnesium. Once the weather starts turning, as I always say, I just want to think protection, immune support, health, vitality boosting. That's all I'm thinking. And because we're all taking, we're trying to top up on the supplements.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, are all supplements safe with all foods? That thought just crossed my mind. I'm not sure why. Then I began to research. And I remembered, there's some herbal teas I know you can't take with certain medications. So I thought, it must be the same with supplements. And there's some herbs I can take with this. The first one I started, I haven't done a full scope search of all the supplements we take, but one of the most important for this season is magnesium. So I started with magnesium. So here we go. It's the mineral, as you know, that keeps your muscles chill, your blood pressure steady, and hopefully helps you sleep like a baby. Magnesium is essential for sleep, mood, muscle function, but timings matter in the world of magnesium. Here's the catch. Some foods totally block magnesium from doing its job. They're basically, for want of a better word, the bouncers of your digestive system.
Yikes.
So, really quickly, high fiber foods. I love my fiber, but when it comes to magnesium, it grabs it, shoves it through your system and says, no excess. So fiber, Same thing with phytic acid foods. What are phytic acid foods? Nuts, seeds, whole grains, beans. They glue themselves to the magnesium. Best guide, take your supplements 2 hours at least away from them. And then we've got high oxalate food like spinach and almonds. They form compounds around your body, basically, that can't absorb. So don't take your supplement with your green smoothie, your matcha, and all of them. And then, of course, the heavy hitters, your alcohol and your coffee, caffeine. So even strong brew tea. They make your body pee out all minerals faster than you can replace them. That's why some recommend you don't take some medications with your cup of tea.
Only with a glass of water.
Only with a glass of water, yes. So what's your takeaway? Really, really, and the last by no means the least, soft drinks, all the fizzy drinks, phosphorus acids block magnesium and calcium. Not just magnesium, calcium. So basically, they and your bones are not fans. So what's your takeaway from this one? Remember, magnesium is amazing, but just don't take it with fiber. Nuts, spinach, salad.
Just don't take it with anything. Just take it with water.
No, yeah. Well, within 2 hours. Triple espresso, rum, or Coke for best results. Take your supplement on its own.
Espresso.
Yep. Keep the troublemakers we've listed at a distance for a few hours.
Espresso.
Yep. What's the bottom line? Magnesium is vital. but timing matters. Pair your supplements with a balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle for best results. Your gut and your bones will thank you later.
Have you got anything else on magnesium?
That's it. I had to make it really, really condense it.
Did you see that thing that was in the news about the children's magnesium thing? That's now found out that it had melatonin in it. Did you see that?
Is it brand?
Yeah, there's a brand. I won't mention the brand for whatever reasons.
I say this about supplements, or I say this, and I'm sure I've said this on the show many times. There is no such thing as equals in the world of supplements. You have to look closely at who's offering you as close to nature as possible.
No, the issue with that one was, darling, is that the melanin or melatonin is a prescription drug that you shouldn't be able to get it in an over-the-counter supplement.
So that means it has no place in that supplement.
Yeah, but people didn't know. That's what I'm saying. People didn't know.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That compound, I'm sure, is not a natural one.
Well, I'm sure it's not.
Exactly.
I mean, magnesium
so that's what I'm trying to say is, with your supplements, do well to get supplements from sources that you know are as close to nature as best. Less synthetics.
Melatonin or something like that.
I haven't seen that, Ledna. I can go and look for it. Less synthetics in your supplements. The more close to nature, the better for you. So always look at the content. Even the packaging, how they've done the capsules. Look, what have they done the capsule wrappings in? Those things matter because some people react to it. The more synthetic stuff you have in it, the less potent your supplement is. There's some vitamin C that's just filled with
chalk.
Exactly. So you need to look at the contents as close to nature as possible. And that's why the closer to nature you get, the more expensive, but if you want to take supplements the right way, you need to come away from that mindset that is cheap, because your prescription drugs are not cheap. So you need to take that same approach that you take with your prescription drugs with your supplements. If I'm willing to pay XYZ for my prescription, then I should be willing to pay even more for something that is not filled with chemicals. So think about it like that. In that way, you can filter the suppliers you go to. Like, I've got loads of suppliers. Maybe one of these days I'll do a proper show on suppliers, but I need to be careful and take permission from some of them first before we do that. But we're going to look into it because it's important that you know the brands that really matter, or the brands that do well for us, brands that make sure it's vegan friendly, vegetarians, and they're not using all sorts of other body animal parts to bulk them up. Okay, right, moving on really quickly. I wanted to touch on this subject before we next week I'm going to do a schedule countdown for us so that we know what the Christmas opening and closing time will be. So we're going to be shut like last year in the period of the week before Christmas and the week after. So we're going to be shut for 3 weekends. Hopefully we might just get a break in, but I'm going to run out the schedule for all of us. So for today, I want to start slowly to segue us into next week. And next week, I'd like us to look at do like a goal and target recap. Middle of the year, we do that. End of the year, we do that. Beginning of the year, we then begin to look at how, why, and why we do these goal settings. But this one, I'm coming at this from a different angle. Hear me out. Thank you very much so far for all those joining us this morning, and wherever you're joining us from, just bear with me. I'll try not to bore you with this. I've titled this one The Weight We Carry, because in thinking of how we wind down the year and start the new year, I first think of impediments. What is it that is holding us? What's holding us back? And why is it that we come to certain junctions and we begin to struggle? And so I just thought of the weights that hold us back. And a lot of us naturally, at this point in time, we all do, like I do, start to reflect where we've grown, where we've done well, and where we feel stuck. And one of the biggest and often invincible forces that shape these thoughts around our personal development is usually trauma. And when I say trauma, I'm talking about both emotional and physiological, meaning events that affect the body directly, like accidents, illness, or long-term physical threats. And of course, emotional trauma is the somewhat invincible. And I remember the story I picked up a long time ago on, do you remember this motivational thing that we used to get then? Chicken soup for the soul, chicken soup for the soul.
Vaguely.
Remember them? So every now and again, I still get them and I read them, and I picked up this story from one of them. And it says, this story is one about all of us. Imagine carrying a backpack. At first, it's light. You barely notice it. But over the years, without realizing it, things start getting tossed inside. A harsh word from childhood, a heartbreak you never fully healed from, an accident that shook your sense of safety, a season of stress where you were just trying to survive, a moment when you felt unseen, unheard, or unimportant. You don't stop and examine these things, but life keeps moving. Work needs you, family needs you. The bills don't pause because you're hurting. So we keep walking, we keep moving, we keep pressing. But this backpack, this emotional, physiological weight, becomes quietly a part of who you are. You get used to walking slower with it. You get used to lowering your expectations. You get used to not fully being present. You get used to believing that exhaustion and self-doubt are just your personality or even the way you are. And then, this is now my bit, the story ends. As the year ends, people like us start talking about goals and resolutions. And you're like, what? And you're hearing this crazy lady across the podcast saying, dream bigger, push harder, level up, press in, push in, move forward, look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. And you're like, seriously? But what trauma does is it changes the way we see ourselves and the world. It tints your lenses. It can rewrite your internal narrative. It can rewire you internally. You're not safe. You don't deserve good things. Why should you be happy? Especially the why should you be happy? You don't deserve good things always comes sometimes after a loss, death of a loved one, where you struggle with coming back to joy. Even when these messages are not true, they feel true because trauma teaches your brain to protect you at all costs, even at the cost of your own joy, at the cost of your growth, and even perhaps at the expense of your family life. The body remembers when the mind tries to move on. The body doesn't forget. And in preparing this, I remembered something that I used to notice with kids. I've looked after many, many, many kids in my lifetime. And when a child cuts their finger, there's some sort of injury. You comfort the child, give them something, ice pack, whatever as the case may be, give some sort of first aid. You put the child to sleep. I noticed something. They'll just wake up in the sleep and start crying again. But they're still asleep. But their body wakes up. Eyes closed, everything. They'll cry. And they go back to sleep. So the body is, and I used to say then, I started saying, that they're revisiting the pain in their sleep. And he wasn't researching this. I just remembered that picture of many babies I'd seen in that situation. The body revisits the pain. Physiological trauma doesn't just heal when the wound on the surface heals. The nervous system can stay stuck in survival mode. At the moment something else happens, it goes back there to that place of hypervigilance, chronic tension, fatigue, difficulty concentrating on the present, but emotionally stuck in the past of that trauma. Emotional numbness even, been there, done it. Don't trust anybody. Been there, done it. Why should I believe you? Oh, XYZ deceived me. Why are you any different? Trauma shrinks our window of tolerance. Really, really puts you in that place where you almost can't even forgive. So forget tolerance. Unforgiveness becomes the expected from you. You're not saying it. You're not forgiving. You're not even forbearing, let alone forgiveness. It narrows that window. We have a zone where we can handle. You hear statements like people say, there's only so much as I can take. Yeah, because every human being has a zone where they can handle ups and downs without shutting down or spiraling out of control. Trauma narrows that window. Small challenges suddenly start feeling overwhelming. And you're like, what's happening here? Why is something that would have seemed easy, why is this person flying off the handle? They're revisiting that trauma. Whatever has happened recently is making them revisit that trauma internally. And this then makes personal growth feel like climbing the Everest. That's where the story I told you earlier on, the backpack, the weight of that backpack that nobody sees becomes present. Because you're just not connecting. You're not letting go. The weight is still there. We're not dropping that backpack. Trauma also can create avoidance patterns. So as we begin to wind down the year and people are talking about relationships, they're making plans, trauma, you avoid certain things. You will avoid certain groups of people. It will make you avoid even some. I know some people, end of year party at the workplace, never, because it takes them back to a place of trauma. They begin, the avoidance becomes a pattern. And if you look into it very well, it's because they're avoiding even if that present situation presents new opportunities, even if it presents, and a classic example is say, a woman would not go to a restaurant if she knew that something was taking place in that restaurant or in that area. She wouldn't go there. She will avoid it simply because that place takes her back to, probably that was the last place she had a meal before something traumatic. Maybe she was let down. Maybe she had a blind date there and it went wrong. Something, an area would remind you of somebody who was, say, even not burgled, when you're burgled, no?
Yeah.
You're attacked, you're robbed.
Yeah,
On the
okay.
road.
Yeah.
So that season, I remember for
Mugged.
That's it. I remember for so long, I hated Brixton. For so long, you couldn't get me to think good of Brixton, because the first time I went to Brixton as a teenager, I was a teenager, I got mugged.
Did you?
Yeah. My Cavella bag. I remember that handbag, made by Cavella. Lovely little bag, was stolen. It was until
somebody came and said, "Give me your bag."
No, they didn't say, "Give me your bag." They snatched the bag.
Oh.
Give me your bag. No. They snatched the bag. And so for years.
ran off.
Yeah. And for years, I just associated that place with, not so nice things. So that's what trauma does. And it took years before I could, even when we were dating then, when I would go there, I would always revisit that incident in my head. But, you're trying to, and this is me, a grown woman at that point.
I never knew that,
I'm sure I've said it to you, because I used to always talk
about it.
You
never said about that being mugged in Brixton. No.
How old was I then? And I remember my mom was like, "Oh, all those areas, what are you doing there?" Now, coming from postcode.
Of course, by then she didn't know me.
Postcode.
Don Valentino. I kind of had a thing, going on in the streets of
Brixton. Brixton.
I'll tell you a funny story, right? Because it was just so remember when those riots were happening, right?
Uh-huh.
I was, people were
Electric Avenue.
Everybody was no. This is the later ones,
okay.
Right? Way later. So they were telling everyone go home early. Remember that time they say everybody go home because there was a summer of rioting. So I remember the train stopped at Brixton. I didn't have too far to go from work, so the train stops at Brixton. Off gets me and, of course, a group of white people, probably more white people than black. And you could see the look in their face like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So, I walked down the stairs and I said, look, how I just felt like so. I said, look, how far are you going? One said, oh, I'm going round that way and and I said, okay, I'll walk round that way with you because, I live over there and walk round that way with them just to give them
Why
a little
did you need to walk around with them?
Because obviously I know the area. So
couldn't they walk themselves, or you felt
they
wouldn't
were
be safe?
Apprehensive?
I see.
You could see
because
the
of
look,
their race.
like
okay, all right.
They were a bit,
Okay.
a bit worried. So had it been that you had, back then, if you'd known me,
if I'd known you,
you could have said, hey, hold on a second, I'm a friend of Val. That's it.
And
they would
have just kept my bag.
They would have brought your bag back.
Or brought it back.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. Then I wasn't thinking as far as even then.
You didn't even know
I didn't
me.
But I hated the place for years. Honestly. Anyhow, that's what trauma does. And it so we avoid anything that would trigger those memories, and avoiding relationships because of hurts of the past, avoiding even goals because of fear of failure. You've ventured into that business, it failed. You've done that investment, it failed. You've done, even something that presently looks good, you avoid it. And avoiding even self-expression because it's not safe, or somebody's critiqued you, or who do you think you are, things like that. And I get it all the time, where it's either you're too loud, you're too this, you're too that. People want to fit you into a box that suits their narrative. And if you don't fit into it, they then begin, their words can almost become traumatic to your progress. But this is where, again, avoidance protects us short term, but it doesn't, it costs us more in the long term. So we have to face it head on somewhat, as the phrase says. Last but by no means the least, trauma isn't a character flaw. I must say this. It's not a character flaw. Like most accidents, it's an injury. That's the way I see it. If you take nothing away from today, please hear this. It's not a flaw. It's not a sign of weakness. It's an injury. And most injuries need what? They need healing. They need first aid. So in order for us to bring healing to ourselves, we must first be aware of the injuries we carry. We must first be aware, or the awareness will lead us to discover the support that we need. What sort of first aid do you need? Do you need fire first aid? Do you need pediatric first aid? Do you need emergency first aid? Do you need long-term, intensive ICU first aid? Rehabilitation. What sort of, thank you. What sort do you need? Do you need just time out? Compassionate recovery time. If somebody had a physical injury and had to use a crutch, everyone expresses sympathy. Oh, sorry, what happened? How did you get that injury? But when we carry emotional baggage, like the unseen backpack, no one tends to offer that compassion in that way. So I'm saying today, before we begin to get into the season that triggers other things, let's try and identify. If you don't have any trauma in your life, fantastic, lovely, hallelujah for you. But if you do have, journey along with me as we start taking stock of our growth. It's a good time to ask yourself the questions. Where have I been operating from fear instead of faith? Where have I been operating from fear instead of possibilities? Where have I been operating from pessimism instead of optimism? What patterns have I established in protecting myself that are limiting me right now? What parts of my journey or my past do I still need healing from? Some of us need trauma. Some of us need healing from childhood traumas, for crying out loud, honestly. Some need in their adulthood, and how can I help my spirit, soul, and body? How can I? Until we do that self-examination, pause and reflect. I'm learning to reflect a bit more as I get older. Just give yourself that space. If it means you need to extricate yourself from everything and just reflect, where am I at? Healing trauma isn't about getting over it, as some people would say to you, it's about time you got over that. Okay, maybe there are some things we can get over, but it's really about regaining access to your full capacity, your courage, your sense of hope and wholeness. That's what healing from trauma is. I'll close with this one scripture. Jesus himself speaks to the weight of a trauma when he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I'd like to encourage you, if you're carrying any backpacks and invisible weights, to drop it, unzip it, and begin to just bring it to the one who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, as Psalm 147 tells us. This is the year where we lay down our burdens, because he tells us that his yoke is light and easy. This is the year when we embrace healing. On this show, we've spent time on contending for personal transformation. So remember, we talked about peace. It's the only one that can guard your heart, guide your mind, in order to help you step into your full potential. So I'll leave you with that. Like I said, take nothing away from this. Pause and just do that reflection, so that when we come into looking at where we are with our goals and our targets next week, we can look at it from clearer lenses. Thank you so much. Hope I haven't bored you too much.
That backpack thing, I saw that in a movie.
Really?
Yeah, Up in the Air.
Up in the air.
George Clooney.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very good film.
I picked it up from Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Maybe you should watch the film. That's your homework. It's very akin to what you're saying. A slightly different spin on it. But it was one of my middle of the road movies that I'd go and watch. If it was on, I'd sit there and watch it, because it was really well done. Really well done. It's very much like that backpack. That's how the way he thought, get rid of everything. But unfortunately, I don't want to give too much of the plot away. But anyway, shout outs for
maybe
this
you can
week.
put that on your list of movies to watch over the holidays.
It's funny, so it does have a very, very funny side to it. It has a serious side, but it's also quite funny. But shout outs, let's do shout outs, because we are fast out of time.
And there was me saying, I want to be on time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you very, very much for your comments. Muchas gracias. Much appreciated. I've got 2 special birthdays. 2 lovely ladies I used to work with. Both of them happened to be my line managers at one point or the other. And would you believe it? Both birthdays share the same birthdays. Same day, same month. Wow. Miss Candice. Spoke to her. Did I speak with her? Yes. Spoke to her briefly. Happy birthday. Yes, we're catching up later. I think we're catching up before Christmas. Same with Miss Ngoziwa AGK. Happy birthday. I'm also catching up with you. So yes, I haven't forgotten. I haven't. We have serious end of year stuff to do. Okay. I'm trying to give it. Thank you. Any other birthdays? If we've missed out your birthday and we've forgotten, please don't be offended. Happy birthdays to all the happy birthdays to everybody this week. Happy birthday to, we'll do, of course, every week we do the birthday shout outs. Hope you all do get well. To all those who are under the weather, hope you're all feeling well. Wedding anniversaries, if there are any, congratulations. May the good Lord continue to bind you with cords that cannot be broken. Right. Thank you so much. And like I said, we will start the countdown to Christmas next week. Over to you, DJ Val.
No catouts. Just if you're out a bit later on Step Forward Awards at Hackney Church, 22nd of November, do check that out. And got some great videos, interviews on Soul Food Gospel as well. I had an Ep9 this week. So go over to Soul Food Gospel on YouTube, slightly different channel. But if you're watching, because this goes on that one as well. So
that's this weekend.
Yes.
Step 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it again, please?
It's Hackney Church, November the 22nd. So it's not too late to get your tickets. Well, it might be by the time you're watching this show, but you can still get tickets. I'm sure you can. So go over. It's going to be a great night. Lots of great artists are going to be there. And of course, yours truly will be there as well. So, hey, you might get a chance to see me in person. And you might get a chance to see her in person. Who knows? But that's pretty much it from me. Let's wrap up. And we will see you next week, I think, is what we will say. Over to you. Render evil for no evil.
Don't play with the prayer lines.
I'm not playing with the prayer line. I don't know how to say it, so I just kicked off. Do not render evil for evil. That's how it starts.
May the good Lord keep you.
And bless you.
May he bless you. May he shine the light of his countenance on you. May he protect, preserve, and watch over all that concerns you. In your going out and in your coming in, do not render evil for evil, but instead be the light and the salt of the earth that he calls us to be. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
What's on your mind? Let's work it out.
What's on your mind? Let's talk it out. With Olive and Val, there's never a doubt. Morning vibes that feel so fine. Tune in now, it's breakfast time.